check that out. We can definitely get that squared away for you. All right. And one other thing here, a couple other things. MLB preseason predictions is coming on March 23rd, 2025. We are going to have our Super Bowl Sunday stream at 4 o'clock on Super Bowl Sunday. Yes, we are still going to talk about the Super Bowl, even though we didn't get the result we wanted with the Ravens there. So definitely we can go ahead and check that out there as well. All right, lot to get to today, even though this is it. The last Ravens game. Now we are in off season for the Ravens and the Orioles as well. From a football game itself standpoint, it was outstanding stuff. It really was. I thought the game itself was good. We didn't get the result we wanted, but the game was outstanding. You ever watch the movie Any Given Sunday with Jamie Foxx? LL Cool J really made that movie for me. I mean, he really looked like an NFL fullback in that movie. A lot of great actors, and they say it's a game of inches. Every break of the game, every step, every minute, fight, crawl for that inch. That's always something that stayed with me in football, and that's exactly what you saw on Sunday. So let's go over the box score. 18 for 25, Lamar, 254, 2 TDs, 1 interception. He did have a fumble. I thought it was decent. Bad first half. I wouldn't even say a bad first half. Bad couple plays, but I thought he wasn't the reason they lost the game. I do think critical error as well. He does not play as well in cold weather. That's just true. When these temperatures get to 0 and 1 degrees and all that, Lamar isn't the guy that plays as well. His style of play kind of holds on to it. Ball set. I think it's a little bit. However, he was as good as I've seen him for 2 games in the playoffs so far. So that's good. So he clearly is improving in the playoffs. The formula has been all season. 16 carries for whenever you get Derrick Henry 16 carries, they win the football game. 20 plus carries, they win the football game. I think he had 16 to 18, 1 TD. Derrick Henry was good. I'm not on their case as much in this one about running the football because you were losing. Like, it's easy to run the football when you're winning, but you weren't winning. You were losing this football game, so that's why as much you weren't running the football in this one. So I get it, why they didn't run as much, but that happens. I mean, that definitely is it. Isaiah Likely was, I thought, they're probably the best receiver on Sunday. Without Zay Flowers, that showed. I think having Zay Flowers really might have been the margin of victory that nobody's talking about. Not having your best receiver on the field. That said, Isaiah Likely was terrific. 4 receptions, 73 yards, 1 TD. Perfect in a game like this where it's cold. He takes a lot of those short passes. He is really turned into the safety valve for Lamar Jackson in a lot of ways. Not a lot of long passes, not a lot of deep stuff. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times he's catching it 3-yard passes, 2-yard passes. He has that separation and take it a long way. Talk about Mark Andrews as well. What people did to Mark Andrews and his girlfriend, trolling him on social media, talking about death threats, there's no place for that nonsense. Nobody should be threatening somebody because he dropped a pass or dropped a football or anything like that. That's just completely uncalled for, that type of behavior. No reason for that at all. No reason for anybody out there to be doing that to Mark Andrews and certainly his family or anything like that. Uncalled for as well. I understand how we felt. I mean, I thought he was the reason we lost here at the end. 2 costly errors, no question about it, but no place for that type of nonsense. Kyle Hamilton, I thought, if Roquan Smith, I think, is the leader of the defense. I think you see it before games now. He's kind of taking Ray Lewis's place of making the impassioned speech, speaking to his team, getting the guys fired up on the sideline. But I think that place might one day be taken by Kyle Hamilton with 9 tackles. He's good anywhere you put him. People talk about, okay, you can use him as a Swiss Army knife in the slot. You can use him at deep corner. You can use him at strong deep. You can use him at corner. You can use him at strong safety. You can use him at free safety. really doesn't make any difference where you put Kyle Hamilton. He's going to be solid no matter where you put it. So he was outstanding, I think, in this game. Did a really good job, too, I thought, on Josh Allen. Josh Allen was kind of contained for his standards. Now look at the numbers for Josh Allen. 16 of 22. Had good completion percentage. 127 yards. So, like, you think you lose this football game, it would be Josh Allen lighting you up with 300-plus yards passing and all that, etc. Not the case. Josh Allen, a lot of short passes, didn't turn the football over. That was key. That was, I think, a big difference in this one. The Ravens had like 3-4 turnovers in this one. Buffalo didn't have any. So they didn't do a lot. James Cook, decent enough. Again, 16 of 17 carries, 67 yards. Solid day for James Cook. But again, not anything spectacular. I think they, again, did a good enough job on him. They were really keying on the Denver run game a lot in this one. Shakir, I think he's their number one receiver going into 2025 and for the rest of the playoffs because they're still in it. 6 for 26, 6 receptions, 76 yards, 67 yards rather. Shakir, I think, is excellent after the catch. I don't think he's a tremendous route runner, but he's excellent after the catch. Similar to what you see, even though he's one's a receiver and one's a tight end and one's a receiver. But Isaiah Likely, you can give him something short, give him something easy, and then he could take it a long way. He's great after the catch. He can do a lot there as well. Damar Hamlin. So I thought the defense, the rush was kind of somewhat contained. I thought the Ravens line has improved all year long. I thought the back end, Damar Hamlin, I thought had their best day. He had 8 tackles. He had 1 sack. They kind of used him in different positions. He kind of is all over the field, similar to what you saw the Ravens were doing with the Kyle Hamilton. Sometimes he's in coverage. Sometimes he's hitting. Sometimes it's in different areas. I do think Matt Milano also was good in this game. I was kind of thinking that was key. In the first game when the Ravens played him, Matt Milano was injured. In this one, he played. It showed. Didn't get ran over by Henry like some people thought. Kind of held his own with the run game. So, Ravens don't win, obviously, 27-25. Bills actually are going forward to the AFC Championship game. Of course, we'll talk about that. Final thoughts on the season. Game of inches. That's the one thing I put on the Twitter feed after the game. It's a game of inches, just like we saw in the movie Any Given Sunday. This was not like last year when they got eliminated by Kansas City, where I think they got out-coached, outplayed, outmaneuvered. I thought definitely John Harbaugh got outmaneuvered by Spagnuolo and Andy Reid. I don't think he was outcoached. I think there was just too many mistakes to win, and that happens. And I think that's kind of what he said in the presser. We'll get to the press conference about it's football, that's the way it goes. I think that's kind of what he meant when he said that. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Andrews, never seen him play a worse game. Never seen him have a drop in a bad situation like that. An easy drop, a terrible momentum shifting fumble in this one. I've never seen him do that. Lamar with a key fumble. How many times has Lamar spin away from a guy and it didn't happen as well? Threw the ball away, fumble. Not all the way buttoned up enough to win a game in Buffalo in the cold as well. So congratulations to the Bills. I am sincerely hoping they beat Kansas City. I am sick and tired of the Kelsey, Taylor Swift stuff. I'm rooting for Buffalo big time this week as the Ravens end their season in the Divisional Round this week. See what I had playing. You see behind the scenes there. Not that. Hold on. Had the Ravens graphic there. All ready to go. 13-5, 16-1. Had the Ravens graphic there. So it's over for the Ravens this season. Now this is our time, you sports nerds, because now we're Ravens and Orioles off season. Now we got those guys out the way. Now we can go ahead and focus on the Ravens. We will still be here every week, just like we've been. Ravens off-season content. We've been doing Orioles off-season content as well. We're going to talk about that as well. So the Ravens and the Orioles in the offseason. Next week, we're going to start talking about Ravens free agents as well. This would be different than the last 2 years in free agency. Before that, we had the Lamar Jackson saga, and last year you had like 20 plus free agents. So this year, not nearly as much. So they're going to key in on a certain area. We're going to go into that as well. End of the year presser from Eric DaCosta and John Harbaugh today out at the Bellagio in Owens Mills. I don't know what happened throughout the years where Steve Bisciotti used to participate in these, and he's kind of stopped doing that now. He doesn't really participate in these end-of-year pressers anymore. I would like to hear from Steve Bisciotti in these, but it's kind of like just evolved into Harbaugh and EDC in these, obviously. Ozzy's semi-retired. That's why you're not seeing Ozzy in them anymore. What was the tone of it? So last year I thought in the presser, John Harbaugh really took a lot of heat after the loss. I've never seen him take so much media heat after the loss. I thought they were much easier on him this year. And they should have been. I thought John Harbaugh this year did better. I saw some things in John Harbaugh that improved. I would always was critical of him of not using bell cow, not running the ball as much as he should, kind of just, well, that's how the game went. No, they were featuring a running back, which was outstanding. I think that's what you do. I think they were looking for a receiver, featuring a receiver. I saw some of that stuff for the first time. I thought he was stubborn on right guard. I don't know what that was with Ben Cleveland and Falele. I don't know what that was. I thought it was stubbornness came in and there. But I think otherwise, I think he was more patient. I think he was more... I think the offense was better. I think he was better. I think Lamar was better. So I think that Harbaugh, I think, was better in this. I thought more in this one, though, he was a little more defiant in that fact. Kind of popping his collar a little bit with reporters, defending his positions. They tried to get him to go on and on about how he, how he coached. No, man, that's football, whatever. He was kind of firing back a little bit at reporters. Not overly aggressive, but definitely not just... Sometimes I've seen him at these end-of-the-year presses where he's kind of just smiling or whatever. Really not that today. He was really kind of defiant, really kind of popping his collar a little bit. Derrick Henry's definitely going to come back. We figured that. His cap number is going to go up. But he was very strong on that. They may do something with the number in the offseason. I would suspect they would as well. John Harbaugh's contract is up after next year. It doesn't sound like he's leaving from what basically was said. I think that's going to get done sooner rather than later. I think they're certainly going to be happy with him. His performance. He said he's friends with Steve Bisciotti. Eric, he didn't really mention it as well because he's in a negotiation, obviously. But I definitely think you're going to have John Harbaugh. Contract is coming back. Non-committal on Ronnie Stanley, I thought, in the presser. I thought Ronnie Stanley was I think a lot of people seem to believe he's going to get signed. I don't. I think definitely Ronnie Stanley is going to probably move on in the offseason. They cut his pay this year, and he's going to be a prize free agent. So the Ravens generally don't get into these bidding things. So I think, honestly, I think he played better than I thought, than they thought. So I don't think they're going to be able to sign him. Brandon Stevens has all but gone. He was pretty much talking about almost in the past tense with Brandon Stevens already. So that's not a sign that they want to go ahead and re-sign the guy. So that'll be interesting as well. Mark Andrews is staying, I think, as well. I think there's some talk of him leaving. I don't think that's going to happen. I think after next year we'll see. I don't think they're going to do anything with Mark Andrews. We're definitely going to have that conversation in the offseason. But even despite the game, I don't think one bad game moves him off of there. Tucker will be back. Tucker was better at the end. I think they were very defending Dustin Tucker during the game, during the offseason, during the presser as well. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them bringing back Justin Tucker. I said on the podcast I would have cut him, but I'm fine. I'm glad that they didn't cut him, and I'm fine that he's staying. Tucker, I think, has been Superman for so long, having looked like a human being. Like, was weird. he was fine down the stretch. I thought the last 5 games, Tuck looked great. I think he definitely straightened himself out. I don't think there'll be a lot different for him. I think they show confidence in him. I think that's okay. When a guy's been so good for so long, that's probably not what I would have done, but that's all right. I think that's fine. I think Tucker may be fine out of all this stuff. I think he's got some work to do in the offseason as he's getting older as well. Definitely, he kick and punt returner in the draft is definitely something they're going to look at for sure. He kind of mentioned that he definitely solidified, hey, we want to do something there. So that kind of like is the red light that they're going to do something in the draft. Pick and punter returner, I definitely think that's a thing that they're going to do going forward. Kick and punt returner. I do think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on O-line. They're going to have to. We're going to get into free agency. Ronnie Stanley, McCary, Cleveland, all may be gone after next year. Rosengarten, kind of somebody asked a question also, one more thing about that kind of I had if Rosengarten could play left tackle. So I think that's something they may look at in the offseason as well. You may be losing Ronnie Stanley. I think it's more likely that maybe he's not around next year. So is that a possibility? He and Eric DaCosta did answer, say, oh yeah, he plays both sides. He can play both sides. He has before as well. So there's the presser. I have it in full. Shameless plug on the Ravery Sports Facebook page and Twitter page. So definitely you can, or X as it's called now. Definitely you could go ahead and look at that in full. The presser is uploaded on there as well. You can hear everything that EDC and John Harbaugh had to say in the end of year presser. All right. Football is not over because we got Championship Sunday, the last multiple game weekend of all year long that we have. 2024, we will know. 2025, 2024, see, even early in 2025, we're going to know who's going to be in the Super Bowl after Sunday as well. All right, so divisional round, some games last week. Let me tell you something. One thing I wouldn't have expected at all, if somebody had told me, okay, so we're going to have the Ravens eliminated and the Commanders actually in the championship game, I'd have told you that you're out your mind. But that's what was going to happen. Jaden Daniels is fantastic, say the least. I thought he kind of exposed the Lions defense. Definitely, they were good all year long, but they had been losing guys, Hutchinson and all that, etc. So definitely it was a thing. Commanders actually definitely deserve to be in the playoffs, in the championship game. I don't know if they'll prevail, but I can say this. Jalen Hurts better be good as well on Sunday if they're going to win. Also, in the other divisional round game, we mentioned the Eagles did go ahead and win over the Rams. I thought this was really close. I really like the Rams. The Rams are really, quote-unquote, buttoned up. They rarely get flags. They never make mistakes like that. They're very well coached. They're disciplined. You never see them get stupid flags, out of position. Very New England-like. I kind of noticed that. Sean McVay, a tremendous coach, and you could see it. They just didn't have enough horsepower as well. I think the Eagles are as good as any team as far as the roster as I've seen right now. I don't think there's any question about it. Top, best running back in the league. You have outstanding all-pro wide receiver, Pro Bowl wide receiver duo. Good tight end. Offensive line is fantastic. Defensive line, a little young. Zach Braun is playing terrific. So they should be the team to win in the NFC with their roster that they have. And also to the other game in the AFC, the Texans and the Chiefs. I'm sick of the Chiefs. I got to tell you, stop with the refs. Everybody's saying the Chiefs are getting all the calls from the refs. It's Mahomes getting the calls. Whenever you have a great player like that, that's what refs do. And they certainly do it at home. when you have a great player. I watched Michael Jordan travel for 15 years in the NBA because they wouldn't call it. Kobe Bryant got away with the elbows. Mahomes, he gets away with those. Anytime you get a late hit, they call it. Brady used to get it too. So that's definitely true. Texans, not quite. Not quite. Not that far away. Their line is terrible. They need a lot of work on their line. All right. NFC Championship game. The Commanders and the Eagles. Who would have thought this at the beginning of the year? Washington is going to play in Philly. I'm sure it's going to be cold. Philly, short drive for the fans if you can get a ticket in Washington, and for Washington fans driving up to Philly. Eagles, I think, should win this game. I don't think there's any question about it. Jalen Hurts, I don't love Jalen Hurts. I think he's a top 10 quarterback, but I think he's at the bottom of the top 10. I don't think he is up there with Lamar and Allen and Mahomes and those guys. I think he's like that next tier down below Justin Herbert and those guys. I think what he does very well. Doesn't throw outside the numbers well, but he's pinpoint inside the numbers. He's got great speed. He kind of runs between the tackles very well. Actually gets the short yards very well. So he doesn't do a lot, but he does it well. And plus he's got a tremendous roster around him. I actually do like Sirianni more than a lot of guys do. I think there's something in life called winning and losing. All right? And this guy can't be this dumb winning all these games. I don't care how good your roster is. You have to. You can't be this successful as he's been and have it all be just. It doesn't work like that, in my opinion. I think the Commanders are here because of Jaden Daniels, period. I think they have an excellent young quarterback. I think he might be already the best quarterback in the NFC. The poise of him is fantastic. Usually a rookie quarterback doesn't have this type of poise. I saw it last year with C.J. Stroud. I'm seeing it this year with Jaden Daniels. Tremendous poise. I don't think he's got enough here. I think the Eagles' defense is going to be too much. Jalen Carter, they're going to come. I like the Eagles in this one. And the main event, the Bills and the Chefs for all the marbles in the AFC. Looks familiar, right? Let me tell you something. Bills, I think, have earned this. Definitely. Only team in the regular season to beat the starting team of the Chefs all season. Only team beat them in the regular season earlier this year. Came very close to beating them last year as well. They were the number 2 seed. So can Josh Allen get over the hump and beat Kansas City? Can he go ahead and kill the beast? No. As much as I'm rooting for it. To be objective, I think the Chefs are very, very, very good. They're not. I think everybody keeps focusing on the fact that their receivers and all that aren't as good as they were, which is true. They're not as good offensively, but they're very good defensively. Mahomes, I think he's not getting those long passes like he was, but he's very efficient. DeAndre Hopkins, Xavier Worthy, etc. The interior line, I think, is outstanding. I think they're very good. The Bills' defense, I think, it was a bit of a tell how well Lamar played. Now this week, you know it's going to be a lot of death by 1,000 cuts, a lot of long passes and things like that. I do like the Chefs at home. And fans are not wrong about the Chefs and the calls. I think you can't blame refs for a game, though. Bills have a shot to win this game. They have the talent to win this game, but I think it's the Chefs winning it at home. There you go. So, Championship Sunday is coming. One of the best days of the football year for me. The last day for me as a fan. Pure games.